If the only data you're collecting from your candidates are their resumes, you're about to lose in this next generation of recruiting. I'll tell you what data you need to focus on coming up. Hello and welcome everybody to this episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. I'm your host as always, Brad Owens, and I was just like you. I spent 10 plus years in recruiting, always really trying to find that tool that actually fit what I wished it could do for my business. And then I saw Salesforce and I went, where has this been all my life? And since then, I've dedicated my career to helping both Salesforce and recruiters understand how this platform can truly be used for recruiting. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the future of AI in recruiting and why interactional data is what you need to start collecting to truly make use of what's coming in AI. To start us off today, why don't we take some time and define what interactional data truly is? The concept of interactional data is the data that you create through interacting with your talent. So right now, if we think about the recruiting process, we have a recruiting process where we ask for a resume, we ask for a few different questions maybe while we collect that data, and then that's where data collection stops. That is everything that's in our system. It's their geographic location, it's their job history, educational history, skills, maybe certifications. That's really where we stop. But honestly, that's where the recruiting process starts. Everything that happens from then on is truly what can start making a system that we work in smarter and more intelligent. It's all of those little tiny interactions that happen along the way that can inform our system to understand what decisions we want it to make moving forward. Let's then dig in and understand the types of interactional data that we can start collecting and start maintaining on our candidates. And to do that, let's follow a candidate through their journey of actually working with you and applying for a job. So let's pick it up where they have become aware of your job by some sort of job ad. Maybe you posted to a job board or on social media or whatever it might be, and they click on it. That's a piece of interactional data. They might be interested in that particular job. And then they spend some time on your website. They could spend between just clicking on your website to actually browsing your website. That's another piece of data. That's interactional data. That's them interacting with your brand. The longer they spend on your website and learning more about you or this particular job or the company or whatever it might be, that's more and more positive indicators that they could be a good person that you want to talk to. And then they apply to your position. Boom, that's our mountain of data. That's your resume. That's all the questions that you're asking. That's everything that you typically collect from a candidate. That's great data. But it doesn't stop there. If we have a candidate that applies into your database and then a recruiter takes time out of their day to review that and then say, yep, I want to move them to a shortlist and actually interview them, that's an incredibly positive indicator that this is a good type of fit for this particular type of position in this particular geographic area, whatever it might be. That's a point in this candidate's favor. That's something that AI can start learning from. And then we have that candidate schedule an interview. What do they need to do? They need to send out an email. They need to get that response back. However long that response takes is a good indicator of their interest level, right? If they respond in a half hour or they respond in 2 days, we know that one of these candidates is more interested and more willing to follow through than the other. Those are data points that we can start using to inform our AI engine. And then throughout the interview process, they're getting feedback from whether it's recruiters or hiring managers, moving them from one stage to the other. The more interactions that we have with this talent, the more times we move them positively through our system and not negatively rejecting them for a job, that's given us more and more data to tell us what this person's a good fit for. So you can see all these phone calls, all these emails, all of this web browsing history, all the feedback that we get on this person, all of the, let's say we're moving into video interviews and collecting sentiment from this candidate, all those different things we can start using to create a true candidate profile based on this interactional data. That's what we're talking about moving forward is going to be most beneficial for you to start collecting on your talent. So now we have all of this good interactional data. How then can AI start using this? Well, AI can't do anything if it doesn't have any data to learn from. If what we're doing is building a traditional matching engine based on here we have this resume, here we have this job description, that's not truly AI. That's just kind of keyword matching, right? We can say, if I'm looking for an account manager, pull up everyone that has account in their resume. Pretty easy. Yes, we can take that a step further. Some people, if we're looking for an account manager, their search and match might pull up an account int because the word account is in there. But if we have some match engines that say, all right, I can understand that if you type in account manager, you're probably not looking for accountants. They have some intelligence built in, but that's not really automated intelligence. That's stuff that they pre-programmed from before. So that's not really AI. What AI is going to do is recognize patterns. It's going to identify key traits in this data that you tell it, hey, this is a positive indicator, and this is what outcome I'm looking for from this individual. So the more times you start making placements from people that show a pattern in their data. So let's say if we make a placement, we can have the AI look back at that entire placement journey. We can say, all right, this person spent 30 seconds to 2 minutes on our website. They responded to emails within this many minutes. They had this many positive indicators, having this many things said in their feedback from all of these interviewers. Now we're giving AI something to actually learn from. This is not a pre-programmed AI to say, we want you to make sure that all of these placements happen given this candidate. That's not what we're telling it. What we're telling it is, here is the positive outcome, placement. Everything that helps this individual move through this process to a placement are things that are going to be positive indicators that these are a good fit for this position. This is moving way beyond keywords. This is now moving us into interactions that we're having with this person that can show positive features that will lead towards a placement. We're giving AI something to actually learn from, not just something that it can match keywords on. We're giving it something it can learn from. That's going to be the power of collecting all this interactional data. Why then do we talk about interactional data on a Salesforce for Recruiters podcast? Well, data that is spread around a whole bunch of different places doesn't really do us any good. All of this interactional data has existed for us before, but there's two problems. One, we haven't been collecting it, and even more serious, we haven't been running it through a central data location. We haven't had a single source of truth, what Salesforce likes to use, for all of this disconnected data. We've got emails over here happening in Google or Outlook. We've got phone calls happening over here a lot on our recruiters' personal cell phones. And then we've got video interviews happening on Zoom or Google Meet or wherever it might be. We've got all these different interactions occurring on different platforms that are not flowing through a single system. So centralized data is going to be key in allowing our AI to take advantage of all this interactional data. So why then are we talking about it on the Salesforce for Recruiters podcast? Well, I truly believe, and a lot of others in the industry truly believe, that Salesforce should be that single platform where all of your data can run through. And there's a number of different reasons for that. One, it's the only place that truly has unlimited ability to connect to all your data systems. It's got a free and open API. It's got an app exchange that has thousands of different apps that have already been built to connect to all your data and bring all of that into Salesforce. It's probably the most extensible system that's out there to be able to connect all these different data streams. So we've chosen Salesforce as that platform as an industry because it's probably going to be the easiest to work with. Second, we've chosen Salesforce because of their history of revolutionary new releases. They've always been a company that's on the forefront of what's possible, and their recent releases with Agentforce and things that are coming with their AI engine Einstein and their XLAM and all the different types of models that they're building out through AI, they're already proving that they're going to be a system that is worthy of you investing this kind of effort and this kind of plan into, because they're going to allow you to make use of your data in ways that other companies just won't. So not only is it very easy to connect all your data systems, two, they're showing you through different releases that they're a platform that you can put trust in that's going to be there when you need to use all of this data. And then three, I can tell you from a back-end system perspective, they're going to make it the easiest. Let's say, God forbid, that you want to start leaving the system. It's going to be the easiest to leave Salesforce and move into something else because of how their data is structured on the back end. All of that data that you put in is yours to also take out. So not only is it going to be the best because it's the best single source, two, it's the best platform because they have that history of revolutionary new features, but three, it's going to be easiest if you want to leave to be able to leave this system. So it's really the lowest risk environment that you can start taking on this experiment. But I can tell you from my history of working with this platform and seeing what they do with all of this, once you get into the system, you're likely not going to want to leave because you're going to have the same reaction I did of, where has this been all my life? I want to take a second also and step forward into how this is going to transform the metrics that we pay attention to in recruiting. Because what we've been able to measure easily up until this point in recruiting are efficiency-based metrics, this is going to start changing the game to quality metrics. So let me explain. Our efficiency metrics are built on number in versus number out and how those things compare. So we've got things like time to fill, we've got things like number of candidates to number of send-outs, and we've got send-out to hire ratios. We've got efficiency metrics because that's really all we've been able to measure. Once we start taking in all these different data points, and we start understanding a true candidate profile, and we've got a 360-degree view of how this person is not only interacting with us, but how we're interacting with our hiring managers and our end customers, we're starting to truly understand the quality of how we interact and the things in our interactions and in our candidates that show that this is going to be a quality placement. We're going to start to be able to see their entire life cycle with either our company or the company we place them into. So we're going to start truly understanding what makes someone successful and what makes a higher quality placement and a more likely placement. So we're going to be able to move from all of these quantitative metrics to qualitative metrics. And it's truly that gold mine of what we've been looking for in recruiting from all along. And it all comes back to interactional data and our ability to gather that. That's why I truly believe that interactional data is what the future of recruiting is going to be. Now that I've got you understanding what this interactional data truly is and where we're going to start collecting that through our system and what AI can start doing with that maybe in the near future, let's think about 4 steps ahead. Let's think about what's coming. When we start leveraging all this interactional data, we're starting to teach AI models what will lead to a positive outcome. So we're starting to teach it what decisions it can make that will lead to a positive outcome. We're going to start making data-driven decisions through AI in our system. Things like, hey, what is going to tell me that this person is a person that I should take from just an applicant to shortlist? And what's going to tell me that I should then take this person from a shortlist and then have an AI maybe interview with this person? And what responses can they start giving that will tell me that this is a good possible fit that I should send out to my hiring manager? And what are the things that I can say in an email about this particular type of person that will get a hiring manager to react positively to this person? We're starting to teach it all of the things that will make it a good recruiter. We're going to start taking all of these administrative burdens off of our recruiters and start shifting them to creating relationships and truly doing what we know makes recruiters successful and building trust. So yes, you could start here, and I get really excited about this because I understand what it's going to take to make these things happen in the near term, but I can also see that next level of what this is going to turn into. And I truly believe that if you want the future to be all of your administrative tasks taken off of your recruiters and then put on AI and technology, the only way that you can do that, the only way that you can remove the administrative burden from your recruiters, I want to make sure I emphasize that, is to collect interactional data. It's the only way. If you are not on a singular platform and you have interactions happening outside of that platform, you're going to lose. There's going to be a company, and they could be really, really tiny right now. They're going to take on these Goliaths in the industry because they have started to focus on a centralized data strategy. And the only way to do that is through leveraging interactions. And I believe Salesforce is a platform that will help you with that. What's first then? What's the first step that you can take to end up on this path to experience all these benefits that we've been talking about this entire episode? Well, you need to start getting all your data in a single system. If you haven't looked at Salesforce yet, what are you waiting for? This is the platform that's going to enable the future of everything I just talked to you about. Salesforce is the future of centralized data and recruiting. You should start bringing in your hiring process into Salesforce. The easiest way to do that is to have a hiring engine that's an ATS that's built inside Salesforce, and that's the Assemble applicant tracking system. It's the only one out there that'll do this, that'll enable what we're talking about. So go to asymbl.com and look at the Assemble applicant tracking system. They are going to be the system that will enable this. It's the only one out there that'll do it. I promise you, I've looked. 2, I want you to explore things like Data Cloud inside Salesforce. What Data Cloud can truly do is to harmonize all of these different channels of your data and have them pass through Salesforce. And we're not talking about taking your data that exists here and copying it into Salesforce and then doing that analysis. Salesforce and Data Cloud have the ability through what they call their zero copy partner network to look at data that's stored elsewhere. It doesn't have to bring it in. So we're not talking about doubling the storage of all of your resumes or of your hiring forms or whatever it might be. We're not talking about doubling your storage. We're just talking about taking advantage of that data that exists elsewhere and running it, processing it through this central database. That's where our interactional data is going to flow. So there's two things that you can start doing today to start leveraging all this data. One, you have to start getting it all in Salesforce. So let's truly start looking at the Assemble applicant tracking system that will start bringing all your hiring interactions inside Salesforce. And then we need to harmonize our data. That will be through Data Cloud inside Salesforce, because that'll start connecting to all these other point systems that you have and leveraging and funneling all of that data into Salesforce. So those are two really quick tips that I can tell you to start leveraging this new AI that's coming and all this interactional data. So I hope that this gave you some sort of insight into what's coming and why interactional data is truly the future of AI and how that is able to be made possible inside Salesforce. So if you like this kind of content, there's plenty more. If you go to salesforceforrecruiters.com, you'll have tons and tons of episodes on how I'm teaching you to take advantage of the Salesforce platform for recruiting. And you can hear all of this energy in plenty of other episodes. If you've got specific questions that you want me to address, I do viewer response videos all the time. You can send in your questions to hello@bradowens.com or leave a comment below based on where you're watching this video. I'm happy to answer those, and I'm always responsive to all of my viewers. So thank you for taking the time out to make a comment or to send me a question. But with that, I will turn you loose. I hope to see you on the next episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. Talk to you soon.